I'm going to pass out some sheets, just one-page fact sheets to get so people can have some things just glance through here. And these are just one-page fact sheets on Operation Christmas Child. I appreciate y'all being here today. When Dan asked me a couple months ago, would you do a program on Operation Christmas Child once we get closer to the season? I said, sure, I'd be happy to do it.
Can we show a video real quick?
Yeah, you want to? We got a 4-minute video, and let's go ahead and we can show it now. I know Tony needs to leave, so just a quick video.
Need more paper.
You can hear the laughter, the cheer.
Each week brings a joy to their heart. The little children come to me. I want the children to know that Jesus Christ is alive, and He'll come into each and every heart that invites Him. The mission of Operation Christmas Child is to share the gospel with children around the world.
Tony, Zoomers can't see the video.
With a verbal and written proclamation of the gospel in more than 100 countries every year. This is an evangelism project, and it all starts with a very simple shoebox gift.
Volunteers are really the heart of who we are and what we do.
When we pack the boxes, it's a reflection, a little glimpse of God's love that we're pouring out.
When you pack the box, pray. You never know how God is going to use that box. They go by plane, they go by riverboat, they go by motorbikes. These shoeboxes go to children in some of those isolated areas of the world. Shoebox goes from you filling it full of toys to all ends of the earth to share the name of Jesus Christ. These boxes give us a chance to show them that there is a light, there is a truth.
After receiving shoebox gifts, children are invited to a 12-lesson discipleship program, The Greatest Journey.
The child is discipled, not only know God, but make God known to others.
Disciples know the power of prayer. They want to know more.
Through this, we're seeing lives transformed for the kingdom of God.
Yo tenía 9 años cuando me dieron mi regalo a través de la iglesia. Solo Dios me tocó y sentí en mi corazón algo fuerte. Ya yo sufrí el pecado mío desde hace tiempo y no puedo regresar atrás. A mí me encanta compartir lo que es la Biblia con mi hermanito pequeño, Yadil. Yo le digo a la gente, amistades, que When I was 14 years old, I started teaching my first The Greatest Journey lesson. And I shared the gospel to them. I really, really hope that they share the gospel with everyone they know.
The heart of Operation Christmas Child is evangelism, discipleship, and multiplication. Because we bring gift to the children, the mothers and the fathers accepted the Lord Jesus Christ. In every church, we are teaching them how to reach out to their neighbors. Operation Christmas Child became the answer from God. The children are taking the gospel to the ends of the earth. It's time for us to go where no one else went, so the gospel can cover this earth just the way the water covered the ocean. Let's pray for the outreach to continue. We are invited to reach them with the gospel.
Millions of children around the world are being impacted by these simple shoebox gifts. So we need you to keep packing those boxes and continue to pray for the children around the world as we begin to disciple them. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Quick, again, that's just trying to do a quick overview for you on Operation Christmas Child. Real quick, I don't know if you recognized Edward Graham. Is that better? Edward Graham on that. Interesting. I don't know if y'all here in Salisbury know Wes Graham, the Graham Roofing. I was talking to Wes, and he said I was with Edward in the military, and I went through West Point with him. I said, really? I said, that's a pretty interesting story. And I had a meeting with Edward Graham up in Boone last year, and his story is very interesting. He's going to be taking Franklin Graham's place, in case any of you are interested. But his story of being, I don't know if y'all remember Billy Graham, of course. And when he was in a wheelchair, you saw him in a lot of events being pushed by a gentleman in a military outfit. That was Edward that would come back home and try to attend some of the major events. So Franklin was trying to get Edward, his son, saying, hey, I can use some help here at Samaritan's Purse. Why don't you come into family business? Edward, no, that's not my calling. His calling, which I thought was very interesting, is to be looking through a scope on a rifle defending our country. And it just hit me that, wow, you've got Franklin on this end, and you've got the son in the military, special forces, doing what he had to do to protect our country. And I was like, wow, what a vast difference in backgrounds there. And sure enough, after 17 years, Edward calls his father, Franklin, says, Dad, I know you've been trying to get me for years to come into the family business. I'm ready. God has called me. And Franklin was like, no. He said, 17 years, you're 3 years out from your 20 years, stay in. And he said, no, God has called me. It's finally time. So it's just an interesting story. But, I looked at Edward thinking about looking through a sniper rifle, pulling the trigger, doing what he had to do. And what a vast change that is from his father leading Samaritan's Purse. But thanks for letting me be here. Dale, great seeing you. And I think that's a great looking shirt you got on back there. It's a nice looking shirt. So the ones of y'all who don't know, Dale has been leading Operation Christmas Child with David Carmichael's help. He's done a great job, 275 boxes last year, had a great packing party. And it was fun because it brought a lot of people out here in the church that I hadn't seen, a few folks who had hit their heartstrings, so they wanted to come and do it. We ran out of boxes because little kids kept walking up going, I want another box. And, we're like, oh, so sorry, we're all out, and, which is a good thing. So I think Dale's trying to up the goal this year. I'll make a plug for Dale real quick because Dale said that, Dale did say, hey, if anybody wants to help with the project, please volunteer. And if you want to help with buying supplies, I know you would take a check.
Love to take donations. Last year was the first year that we went more with donations because better purchasing things we bought. So thank God last year we had a lot of good donations that we were able to. Historically, we've only had about 75 boxes. So last year we set a new all-time record for First Presbyterian Church. This year I don't have we're just targeting 300 boxes, but we have no idea. So we've got about a 12-member team of people here in the church. Denise, Libby, there's so many ladies that are helping, and guys throughout the congregation that are helping with shopping, with the donations, and making the washcloths that we put the soap in for the kids. So any way that you can help is certainly appreciated. And our packing day this year is going to be November the 10th. The from 5 to 6:30, and this will be coming out also in the newsletter. But looking forward to seeing some of you there.
How much money do you need for 300 bucks?
Pardon?
How much money do you need for 300 bucks?
Well, just the shipping of $10 a box is $3,000. Last year, I think we had around 6,500. So if we could use about 65 to 7,000 again this year, because I go to Oriental Trading, and also to several other where we could buy bulk. Bought 526 pencils. So, we're really focusing on the kids' clothing, socks, t-shirts, underwear, girls' toys, and also school supplies, rulers, pencil bags, pens, pencils, erasers, and so forth. So any way that you can help, please let me know. The donations really help well because that way we can buy in bulk. Yes, sir.
What age groups is your target?
They're all ages from 2 to 14.
Yep.
And we divide them up 2 to 4, 5 to 9, 10 to 14. And then when we have the packing party, that's the way the tables are set up. In those 3 rows, boys on one side, girls on the other side. We just take the boxes and pack them accordingly. And I got to tell you that Kenan was so nice to give us 63 stuffed animals. But they will fill the shoebox.
A little too big.
Carol and I yesterday were figuring out how we're going to get these animals in the shoebox. So we took our food vacuum processed bags, and we sucked them down. So they don't look very pretty, but when the kids open them up,
They'll pop open. Yeah. So.
Thank you so much for all the donations you gave last year too.
Yep. Thank you, Dale. Y'all have a nice morning. So it's a good job, Dale. Really, this is a great project. I am one of our year-round volunteers. I've done it for 2 years now. I'm on the church relations team, but I'm also on the community relations team, which means I do a lot of civic groups. I get up and speak to civic groups, but I go around the county and speak to churches and the mission groups inside the churches to see if they would have any interest in being involved in the project. It's been a great thing. My wife and I and our girls have been packing boxes for years. I kept getting the emails about, hey, if you want to volunteer to help, push the project forward, email back. And I prayed about it. And about 6 months later, I think the Lord finally tapped me on the shoulder and said, hey, why don't you try to help get more boxes for children so that we can introduce these children to Jesus Christ. And that's what this project is about. It's not about gifts in a box. It's about introducing Jesus and showing God's love in a tangible way to children all over the world. And these boxes go everywhere. I mean, you can probably guess. Real quick, it does. Operation Christmas Child falls under the Samaritan's Purse umbrella. Many of you have already seen different divisions inside of Samaritan's Purse. The U.S. Disaster Relief Team Division. Y'all see, flooding, hurricanes, tornadoes. You see them on TV a lot, pulling out of North Wilkesboro, the huge operation in North Wilkesboro. So you see the U.S. Disaster Relief. We have the International Disaster Relief Division, which obviously, like in Ukraine, the last 2 or 3 years, I mean, over 200 trips been flown out of Greensboro to Ukraine. And just tons of food and supplies, little stoves that the people, because with no power during the winter, it gets mighty cold. But that's another division. Another division most people do not know about under Samaritan's Purse is the Operation Heal Our Patriots. And that is just for military and medical EMT folks. When families, unfortunately, as y'all know, many of you veterans in this room know, when you're deployed and you're away from your family for 6 months, for 1 year, for 2 years, when you come back, you're a different person. There is no way you can go see some of the things you see and come back the same person. Operation Heal Our Patriots is trying to put those families back together. That is a big camp that we have in Alaska. And that has been very popular. We fly them in by the planes with the pontoons on them and try to put those families back together. And that's been very popular with our veterans, because veterans are very important to Samaritan's Purse. Again, Vic told me I only had 4 hours for the presentation, so I better get started real quick. But again, it's not about just the gifts in the box. It's about trying to tell these children all over the world about Jesus. That's what it is. But a great way to get started is to work with these churches, and we pack boxes all over this country. So I've got some numbers for you just to get us started. So last year, in worldwide, 11,330,126 boxes were made. So over 11.3. In the United States, of that 11 million, the United States made 10,051,570. Let's break it down because everybody wants to get more local. North and South Carolina, out of that 10 million, North and South Carolina did 1,095,091 boxes. If you want to break it down a little bit more, the South Piedmont region is Rowan, Cabarrus, and Iredell. These three counties, that's sort of the three counties I work in, but I try to spend more time in Rowan. Rowan, Iredell, Cabarrus, 29,961 out of our 3-county area. Oh, you want to hear Rowan County? I got Rowan County. Anyone guess how many boxes came out of Rowan County last year? It's 29 out of 3 counties. Yeah, we did 7,105. The previous year, we did close to between 5,500 and 6,000. In Rowan County, we had one of the largest increases last year, 32% increase. A lot of it, Dale, David, those, I mean, you go from 75 boxes to 275. I mean, those numbers really help. The hospital, just FYI, the hospital said they would like to. I met with them, Gary, and many of y'all know Gary Blabon, Kristen Trexler. They did 144 boxes last year just wanting to help. They put the emails throughout the people brought items from the church, and they did a competition between the emergency department against the cancer oncology group. And so it was, so we really had a big increase last year. Things to go in the boxes, y'all. Again, these go all over the world. I've got the typical box here. Everyone thinks that the only boxes you can use are ours, and that is not true. You can use, if you have a Nike box at home, a Reebok box at home that you bought shoes, use those. I mean, I attend the processing centers and work and volunteer on weekends in the processing centers. Probably half the boxes are the typical Nike Reebok. They don't have to be ours. This is a cardboard one. Maupin Presbyterian right down the street is adamant that they don't like cardboard boxes. So they go and buy our plastic boxes, which are about 3 times more expensive. But they have, some of those folks have done mission trips and traveled to some of these areas. The plastic boxes, of course, are more, of course, will hold up. You know, the cardboard boxes will deteriorate, you know, with water and everything. They made the determination that with, you know, the families can put their valuables in these, they can put food in these and seal them so that the bugs don't get into them. Again, we don't care what kind of boxes, you know, but yeah, that's one of the most mistakes people make is I have to go buy y'all's boxes. That is not true. What goes in the boxes? Well, I got a box that I usually use for presentations. Think about, you know, so you got 2 to 4, you got 5 to 9, 10 to 14 is the 3 age groups that we try to get boxes to. So think about kids your age or your grandkids or your kids and try to think about things that might be fun for them. So I got one of the little $1 slinkies inside this, a play watch happens to be in this one, a little hat for, you know, keep the sun off of your head. School supplies are very important. You know, little notebooks, pencils. We always try to suggest if you put pencils in, try to put something to sharpen it up because, you know, they might not have that. All the things you don't think about. I think it's important right now is a bar of soap. A bar of soap is a big deal to these kids. Again, these boxes are going into areas, as you saw some of the pictures, they're going into areas that are in tough shape. And most of these children have never received a gift in their life. So this is the first big gift. So a bar of soap, one, also because it smells so good when the box is open. We've had recipients speak at our events, and they always say, yeah, the thing that just gets me every time is when I was 6 years old, I opened the box, and the smell of the soap was, I've never seen soap before, and it smelled so good. In case you're interested, I always put 2 bars of soap in mine. I always put a bar of ivory soap. Anybody know why? It's the only bar of soap that floats. And that's a big deal in a lot of these small areas that the kids are taking their baths in creeks and ponds. So, of course, you drop your soap and it sinks, like this one will sink, but this one will float. So that's great because most people don't know that's the only soap that doesn't sink. At the Lions Club last year, I was presented, not me to wear, I hope, but a pillowcase dress. And a lady inside the Lions Club has made over 1,000 pillowcase dresses for young girls. And and has shipped and made over 1,000 boxes with little, for little girls. Of course, we have little bouncy ball for kids to play with. A hairbrush is a big deal, little stuffed animal. Y'all get the idea. It's something that these children hopefully can play with. And a bar of soap. Again, the one other thing I'd like to show you is a big deal is this. I don't know if y'all can see what it is. It's a toothbrush. And one thing we found out, and I would suggest any of y'all, if you have any interest on seeing, we have thousands of these videos that we just saw. You have a lot of 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minute videos. If you want to go on YouTube or Yahoo, you can type Operation Christmas Child, and they will all line up, and you can just click and watch it. One of the videos I thought was great that was shown at one of our meetings was in some part of Africa. They just came out because these children do not know they're going to get a present. Let me make that clear. They're coming to church or to the orphanage because they were told that there's going to be a party. So these kids come. And so, we never lead with a gift. That is not, they never know they're going to get a gift. And that's always comes at the end. So it's always a surprise. But the video that I love is there's a little boy and there's a video on the whole group and he's jumping up and down. And I keep thinking, I can't see. I wish he'd turn around to see what he has in his hand because I don't know why he's so happy. And as he turns around, he's got a toothbrush in his hand. And he's like, I've got my own toothbrush. I have to share with 20 people my toothbrush, and now I get my own. And, I was at Salisbury Academy doing this, and they were like, oh, gross. Well, people, they're in a lot of these areas, there's only one toothbrush for 10 or 20 or 30 people, which I know, a lot of people just shake their head, but to a child, if you don't have anything, a toothbrush is a big deal. So what we do, we pass the boxes out at the end of the event, and then they receive what is called the greatest gift. And this greatest gift is a pamphlet about Jesus's life. And it's always done in the language, over 100 different languages, and we're expanding that every year, over 100 languages throughout the world. These are so that the children can read them. Then if the child would like to come back, the missionary or the minister then says, hey, we have called the Greatest Journey. It's a 12-lesson discipleship program. And the minister will teach all the children. And after the 12-lesson discipleship program, there is a diploma in the back of the book that is ripped out, and we write the child's name on there, and we have a big celebration after the 12-lesson discipleship program. So the goal here is to, of course, bring the child up to, of course, give them a big hug and talk about what great job they did and they graduated. But it's called multiplication. We're hoping that the parents come to watch their child. The grandparents come to watch their child, the other brothers and sisters, so that it gives us a chance to talk about Jesus Christ. That is that's the mission of the church. That is the commission of the Bible talks about reaching people for Jesus Christ, and that's what this project does. And I really enjoy it. I think watching the kids last year during the packing party. Yeah, I thought that was so much fun. Most except when we ran out, and the one little girl about broke my heart. Can't you find one more box for me to pack? And I was like, I'm so sorry, we're out of boxes. But it teaches our children, it teaches our children that it's not all about themselves. There are children all over the world that have nothing. And that's one thing that I think is a great lesson that we can teach our children. I mean, if you gave your granddaughter or grandson or your son a toothbrush for Christmas, I would assume the look on their face would be like, what? You're giving me a toothbrush? That's my big Christmas gift, a toothbrush? I think they'd be disappointed. They're probably looking for some one of those computer games. To these children, a hairbrush, a bar of soap is a huge gift. So one thing when we do ask for a $10 donation for shipping. It attaches to the box, just so you know, right here, and that allows us to help ship all these 11.3 million boxes around the world. And as you can see, they go by plane, boat, camels. That's one thing people always laugh. They said, "Man, the ones on the back of a camel going across the desert." They said, "Yeah, we're trying to get to areas that are very few people." The Pacific Islands are a big push lately to try to get all these children on these islands that have never heard about Jesus. So we're getting out there. But we asked for a $10 donation, and if you like, you can track your box. Tracy and I love to track our boxes to see what countries they go to. And last year ours went to Ecuador. They went to Mexico, Paraguay. I'm missing one other country. Some went to Africa, but it's just, I think it's sort of neat to track that and to see where they go. And then you can show your child or grandchild, hey, the exact box that you and I packed, remember last month? Guess what? Get a map out and show it went all the way over here, that one box that you and I built. My sister has done that with her granddaughter, and it has made a huge difference about trying to teach about giving, try to be more philanthropic, and about Jesus. So it's been a great thing for our children to learn more about and to give back. So again, we do a packing party. Half the churches in America do not do packing parties. It doesn't matter to us how you build your box. Half the churches do packing parties and organizations. The other half, they just give an empty box out and say, Keith, if you would like to make a box for a child, here's an empty box. And then they go out and, again, dollar stores are very popular with people. They go to dollar stores and they buy the bar of soap and a toothbrush, and then they bring it back to the church and we ship them from there. So again, we talk about packing parties, but that's only about half how churches do it. The other half do it individually. And my wife Tracy and I have done it both ways. One real quick thing that's been popular since COVID, unfortunately, y'all can guess, I think y'all heard COVID before. COVID put a hurting on our country and the world, and it put hurting on churches, as y'all know. A lot of folks quit coming to church. A lot of folks' attendance in church went way down. We saw it here, but we saw it in Operation Christmas Child. So we built what we call BASBO. Build a shoe box online. And I've got some pamphlets in case you want to take one or whatever. I put a little table up with odds and ends and pins. Y'all grab anything off that table. I got some empty boxes. If you so desire, please grab a box. But BASBO is exactly what it is. You can go online. You can type in Operation Christmas Child on Google or Yahoo, and there's a build it online. And you can go in and say, well, I want a girl. I want to pack one for a girl. I want 5 to 9. And then up on the screen comes essentials, toothbrush, brush, you hit it and it drops it into the box. And then you get to pick if you want a slinky or a doll or whatever. And it drops into the box. And then at the end of the fill in the box, you can pay $25, and that includes the $10 shipping, which, you know, a lot of folks are like, geez, I spent about $100 per box on Tracy and I do. And we're like, geez, you know, if you want to. And the reason is, if you're building it, I've worked at the processing center for Bass Bow also, is that we're buying in 300, 400,000 per item. And if you do bulk purchases like that, you know, the Slinkies of the world get down to 10 cents instead of $1 and $2. The bars of soap, you can really get down. And then we ship those boxes all over the world. But it's a great way. Yeah, one thing, I was at a church and they said, yeah, we don't feel safe going out at night to Walmart and to some of these areas. It's a shame, you know. And I said, well, you know, here's a little, if you want to, you can do it online and just hit the button. And they're like, oh, that's a great idea. Last year, in case you're interested, Bass Bow, 346,966 boxes were done. So we're using Bass Bow. So it's a great way. It's a very efficient way to build boxes if you so desire. Again, it's a great project. I know Keith's very heavily involved with helping children. This is one of the international projects that all of these not one box goes to the United States. And that's one of the negatives. I hear people say, well, no, we have so many other great organizations here in the U.S. that are already doing it. There is no reason to duplicate what other groups are already doing. So this is 100%. These go countries all over the world. And it's, yeah, again, it's been a great project. I know many of you already, I know I've seen you at other events for Operation Christmas Child, and I appreciate your support on that. But again, I can go on for days on this. I've got more material that I can throw at y'all that I will bore you to death. But are there any questions? Go ahead.
Why don't you mention some of the items that you can't pack?
Oh yeah. So in the processing centers, we have big tables, and the boxes come off. The shoe boxes come off the rollers, and they come, and we have to open every box that's made. Okay, so every box, all 11,330,000, we have to inspect. The reason is that we got to take out items that are not allowed in the boxes. A couple items that are not allowed. Anything liquid is not allowed anymore. We learned the hard way there in the mid-90s. We learned the hard way. This has been going on now 31 years. This project has been going. We learned the hard way when you put cans of drinks and stuff and you shake them up and they get beat up in these, and when they explode because the heat or cold, the child opens the box and it's not fun. You see a child's face. They're devastated because the box is just ruined. So we learned the hard way. They are no liquids. Candy melts. We've learned the hard way. Candy melts in these boxes and some of the heat that these boxes, and you saw some of these, where some of these areas, they're very, very warm. Candy melts, so we can't use candy. We learned the first year, toy guns. You cannot have a child pull a gun out of a box in some of these countries. You can get a child shot quickly. Nothing with camouflage either. We have learned that the children wearing, a lot of us love, the kids wear camouflage shirts. And well, in these countries with the military, they're then depicted as a military person. Again, the things I've never, when I went through all the training for this, it just hit. I'm like, wow, I've not thought about the issues. So military, that just didn't hit me. But those are some of the main items. Yeah. Unfortunately, we had to take toothpaste out about 5 years ago. We started having problems with toothpaste exploding in some of the boxes and through shipment. And of course, it just ruins the box. I will tell you, there is a discussion right now, which I don't like, but I'm going to live with the decision. But there's a discussion about taking these out of every box. And it's bars of soap. And I talked to a wonderful gentleman, Randy Riddle, who's in charge of all of North America and South America. He's become a good friend of mine. And I said, you got to be kidding. I said, how can soap? He said, Kenan, what you don't understand is the custom agencies in all these countries, a lot of soap, these children have never had soap on their skin, and it breaks out their skin. And I'm like, Really, again, here in America, we're used to having soap as a child, and we've gotten used to it. But again, that one bar of soap is about the only soap they'll ever see. So it's causing issues at the customs borders for us. And this past year, we had to shift boxes from certain countries to certain countries just to get the boxes in, and then to be inspected again, take the soap out, and you can guess that's just money. And yeah, we don't want to do it. Soap is still allowed today, just as an FYI, but they're trying to figure out a good solution to that problem.
Has our class participated in?
No, we have. I've never, this is the first time when Dan said, hey, Kenan, would you come and speak about Operation Christmas Child since you're a year-round volunteer? I said, sure. So, but no, I haven't really asked. I brought it up that maybe, So
would you like to ask right now?
Well, sure. I mean, anybody who, again, Dale and
I'm talking about the Everyman's Bible.
yeah, if the treasurer and then we would consider doing that, I mean, we would love, Dale and David would love that, because buying the supplies in bulk sure does help. I mean, you can get a lot more boxes for children that way. So yeah, I would love to ask the class to consider that in the future, if y'all would consider helping Dale and David. And what you're doing is you're helping us reach children for Jesus.
I'd like to ask our executive committee to put that on their list to discuss.
Okay, well, great.
When is there a cutoff date?
Yeah, great question. Thank you. The great thing about this project, when I go in and talk, particularly to churches, is, we can't take on anything else at Christmas. We're just we got the Christmas cantata, and we're like, yeah, I get you. This project basically starts the second week of October, which is 2 weeks from now, and runs to the third week of November. So it's about 4.5 to 5 weeks. So the third week of November, the week of Thanksgiving, is when all the boxes are coming into our processing centers. And we have drop-off locations all over, like Life Church is one of our drop-off locations. Enon Baptist Church is a drop-off. Resurrection Life over toward Lowe's. And we have about 6 or 7 other churches in Rockwell, Faith, that are drop-off locations. But the third week of November, the project is over. And that way it doesn't interfere with other churches' activities at Christmas. And that's when they look at you and go, oh man, that's great. Okay, it's a 4 or 5 week project. You hit it hard, and then we move on to Christmas. So great question.
The leading church in Rowan County.
The leading church in Rowan County. Okay. I can't give numbers too much, but the church that is the highest participating church in Rowan County is Stallings Memorial Baptist, right here up on the hill. There's a group of ladies that meet Mondays from every Monday, 52 weeks a year, from 1 to 3. They have sewing machines up in the 3rd floor. It's unbelievable. And these ladies, it's their mission they come and they talk about all the cooking things they like to talk about. And of course, I think guys talk more about sports, so they don't talk about sports. But it gives them the time to come together and have fellowship. But then they do a tremendous amount of boxes. I can tell you it's over 1,000 boxes that one church does. And I've been told that unfortunately their numbers, only about 125 in church. So that church has done a wonderful job, David. Thank you. I know I'm sort of, at 10:30. I know again, I know that was fast and to the point, but they're pins and boxes. And y'all want to take a box, but Dan, thanks for throwing out the idea that, if the class wants to help, that's great. We love reaching more children for Jesus. So if that's